Watch what crappens. Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Watch what crappens. Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens?
Hello, welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today is the wonderful, the hilarious, the probably a better Pavlova maker than Jenna Lyons. I'm going to say it right now. Mr. RHONY Karam, how are you?
Hi there. How are you doing?
I'm great. I am so excited to talk about this Pavlova-centric episode of Real Housewives of New York today with you. Anything going on in your life today, RHONY, that you want to share?
I think if I had to say who I was the biggest fan of walking out of this episode, it would be that Pavlova.
Yes, the Pavlova did seem to have the most interesting arc.
I was like, I don't mean to be offensive, but please stop having angry Pavlova energy. And then all the other breads got really mad at me.
I was kind of
really,
like, Pavlova.
Been controversial over here.
I was like, Pavlova, if you're going to be on camera, you got to give it back a little bit. Come on, you're never going to last long, Pavlova.
What is a Pavlova? I looked it up
like
right now. It looks like a meringue. Is that what it is? I thought it was bread. Oh my God, this is like a meringue?
It's like a giant meringue that's like dried. It's like a dried meringue, and then you put like fruit in the middle and stuff. I've actually never had one because it's always filled with the things that I hate, like berries.
Fruit.
For people who are new to the podcast, you may not know this about me, but my strange thing is that I detest blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries. Although I've made some recent inroads with strawberries, so that's going in a good direction. But to me, if I see a pile of berries that I am actually disgusted by it. I can't even, like, the scent, it's really awful to me. So the Pavlova is a no-go. It's a no-go.
Yeah, Pavlova is a no-go. Well, it looks good. One time I thought I want to make a really big meringue because that's the best part of a pie. And then I thought they should make a whole pie that's just a meringue. But they already did. It's called the Pavlova. So guess what? That trademark, it's no wonder that trademark didn't come through. And I've not made sense from that. Okay, so
fast forward to 3 weeks from now. Well, Ben, I'm really upset. All I've been doing is been making Pavlovas ever since that episode. I've been trying to perfect my own Pavlova.
Probably. That's how I got into macaron. We were watching somebody make them on this show, and I did it for 3 months until I made them perfect. And I think I've made them once since. So great art form. Okay, that's not the point, guys. The point is, welcome to Real Housewives of New York City, season 15, episode 4. We are doing this on video, like we do all of our episodes. That's over on Patreon. Patreon is super fun. Go do it. It's also where we do bonus episodes. Our first a couple episodes of Below Deck Sailing are over there, and the other ones are on the main feed from now on. So go check out the first two over there, and let's get to the recap, Ben. Or did you want to say something before we get into it? I really have to get into this. There's so much going on in this episode.
I would like to say something. Potato chips. Okay, moving forward.
Yo, delicious. I remember the time I made potato chips. Okay.
All right. So
here we are, Sag Harbor.
Yes.
Cackling Sag Harbor, as someone said in comments, which I thought was so fucking funny.
Cackling Hag Harbor. Well, we can mention this. Speaking of Sag Harbor, one of the Sag Harbor residents, Andy Cohen. If you have not seen the video of him high as a kite at a whatever the Grateful Dead rebirth, I forget what their new name is, with John Legend, John Mayer. If you haven't seen that video of him in tie-dye losing his mind, please go find it on the internet because it's really going to make your day. I just want to say that right now.
It is. Wow. You know that whole saying, dance like nobody's watching? It's that.
Yeah.
And I will never be comfortable doing that. It's kind of like when you start taking improv class, they make you feel as stupid as possible just so you can get used to feeling stupid. And that is what that dance looked like. It was like, just dance, just throw your arms out. Don't worry about any kind of rhythm. No one's around you. Have no spatial awareness. Just flop all over the place in some tie-dye.
I mean, in some ways it was actually wonderful. It was just like he was having pure joy. Just like, I don't care. But what's funny, the Dead and Company is the band. And what's funny is that it was a spectator at this concert who is like far away and like zooms in with her camera on Andy Cohen, just dancing and singing along like crazy, just flopping everywhere. The only reason why they knew Andy Cohen was over there is that everyone is dressed I would say normally in terms of like walking around on the street, and Andy Cohen is head to toe in tie dye, and he's like that guy at the concert. He is like, I understand it's a Dead and Company concert. You're gonna wear tie dye,
open mouth, like yeah.
But it is like tie dye everywhere. He is like the guy who walks up to you at a farmer's market and gets you to sign a petition.
Looks like he was slowly like waving away birds that were trying to attack him, happily, like yeah. Wow. That like housewives were trying to sell on Instagram. They were all influencing for punch balls that you tied to your arm.
Yes.
And then you punching at them like randomly. That's how he dances. Yeah. And you're right. There is something just pure about watching somebody be so happy. It's gross, honestly, but it is pure.
It's strange on a network that just showcases misery and families and relationships falling apart. But
yeah,
good for him.
So did you say John Mayer is in the Grateful Dead now? No.
Yeah, John. They are now Dead and Company, and he's like a guitarist and stuff in it.
Did something happen with his own career? What happened to John Mayer? Did he get sick of those 3 chords? Or
your body is a wonderland. I think actually in some ways yes. I think that he's a guitarist, and it's probably like cool to be part of the Grateful Dead, and I think he can't sing anymore. I think he had some issue with his voice.
Really? What happened to him?
I don't know. You know what? I don't want to go on record saying lies about John Mayer. All I know is that he wound up Dead and Company, and he's just there. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. He's there with Dead and Company. I feel like I'm covering up something.
I'm not cords. Oh wow. Yeah. Vocal cord surgery. Oh, wow. That sucks. Sorry, John Mayer. Wow.
It's wild.
All right. Well,
guess he won't be belting out those big notes anymore that he was so famous for.
Okay, so let's
don't
This is probably going to be a 5-hour recap because like maybe 2 minutes of content happened in this show. So
Pavlova, am I right?
We start with Rebecca talking to Sai about how she needs to drink a lot of water because she's dehydrated because she's still nursing. Yes. And Raquel's like, are you pumping and dumping? And she's like, no, I'm freezing it all. And they're like, oh God, there's nothing worse than just not emptying, just walking around full of milk. I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, I know the feeling, really.
Yeah. And Rebecca's like, one time Gavin and I went to a club in Paris, and I felt like the feeling that I was like, bloop, and you're going to have to like, I was like, Gavin, you're going to have to like sort me out. And like, we're going to go to the bathroom right now, and you need to relieve me. I feel like this is becoming a trend with Rebecca, is that she like announces some story about bodily fluids. Like last week it was like, I put in a Diva cup and it fell out. It looked like a murder scene. Yeah. This week it's like, I had so much milk I had to have my husband suckle at my teeth.
I thought she meant like he was gonna grab her boob and like twist and like you're cleaning out a mop, But no, he like literally went down there and sucked on her boob, and then Sai was like, did he spit? And he did spit, which I don't know, drink it. Why is it gross? Like, it's not gross. It's just
mother's milk.
Why would you drink from a damn cow who's had God knows what injections? Like, that thing literally lives in poop, but you won't drink your wife's boob milk? Come on, drink it. That's what I say.
I love you shaming her husband about this.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't go all the way. He's like, I'll help you, but it's gross. It's not gross. It's your wife's milk. I mean, your son's going to be drinking it till he's 27 years old, according to her. She never stops. She never stops the breastfeeding. She's into breastfeeding until those kids are at college. She won't even have to pay for food at college because she'll still be there feeding that child with her boob.
She's like, hey, honey, I'm here for lunch. So the van arrives at a tennis club, and God, nothing gets us more excited than watching people on Bravo try to play tennis, because isn't it so funny and wacky and hilarious to watch women not being able to hit a ball? God, it's so great.
Well, I think they're trying to recreate that early RHONY magic on the tennis court, because there were always really good tennis court scenes. But those those were different people. This is Aaron. You know what I mean? So we roll up, and Aaron's like, guys, I went to tennis camp here. We know Aaron. Like,
we already know. We didn't even know, but we knew. We knew this is where you went to tennis camp.
Okay.
We know, Aaron.
It's the widest place I've ever seen in my life. We know, Aaron. Okay, you got catered by Provisions. You know, you did cotillion afterwards at the Hampton Bay Country Club, whatever the fuck.
You had your prom at Citronella or whatever, then the Citarella, whatever the name of that store is. So Bryn is like, this is the camp that you went to in like the Hamptons. It's like, yeah, she just said so. So now it's like, yay, time to play tennis. So they go in, and there's an instructor named Tino, and they're all like, he's cute. So they're all like, woo. I did sorely miss our Ramona Singer moment of like, hi, how are you, tennis instructor? And then Luann be like, hello, I like to play tennis. Do you like to play tennis as well? I'm like, come on, New York ladies. Like, you gotta like do some clunky flirting with your tennis professionals.
They tried it. Aaron was like, do you like my hair? I just got it cut to match my mom's length, and it was almost so many inches, but like I stopped it. Have you ever loved someone who sold Bitcoin behind your back? He's so handsome, right, guys?
And Aaron goes, Hey, girls, ask Tina what racket she should use. It's like, wow, good one. And
Bryn's like, winner gets to kiss the tennis instructor. What are we going to do? Hit the ball? She sure that won't hurt?
Jenna's like, I'm going to take a seat because it's a spectator sport and everyone needs a spectator. Plus, to me, it reminds me of horizontal mountain climbing. And it's just very, very stressful.
Yeah, so they suck at tennis, basically. And Jessel's like, I'm British. I play cricket. Oh, you suck at cricket too. Who are you kidding? Does anyone out there believe for 2 seconds that Jessel can play cricket?
I'm surprised Jessel wasn't holding the racket by the round side and trying to stick it with the handle. So,
girl.
Yeah, she's.
How do you flush this?
Oh, good. You got me. I call these things pivot bats. You just swat pivot with them, and it'll do what you want it to do. So Jessel's like, so they're just playing tennis really badly and everything. And then Uba starts playing, and people are taking selfies and stuff. And then eventually Uba and Aaron go to play tennis off to the side, and everyone else sort of sits down, and they're sort of having a chill talk and everything. It's like kind of like they're settling into their seats by the side of the court.
Yeah. And so Jenna is directing them take a picture with their legs crossed. And she's like, no, cross your legs the other way. They're like, oh my God, Jenna's so artistic. Because that's a lot of this show is just taking selfies and posing in their outfits, Yeah. And so they do that for a while. And then Sai comes over. It's like, oh, hello. And Bryn's like, this is the second time I'm being ignored. I just don't know what the fuck is going on. No one was even mean to Bryn right here.
I think Sai was just like sitting down next to Jenna. I think it was like that's normal.
That's just how Sai is. I mean, Sai talks to everybody like they're sweeping her boards. She's like, hi, how's it going? You doing all right, fine. I'm hungry. You got any candy on you? I don't know what Bryn was expecting, but no one is victimizing Bryn at the moment.
Yeah, did she want Sai to say hello to everyone down the line as she went to sit down next to Jenna? I don't think she needed to. I cannot believe how much I've been on Sai's side this season. It's wild. So then
we see evidence of this happening the first time that was really offensive to Bryn. And it says flashback 2 hours earlier to Aaron's closet bathroom. And Sai goes, Aaron, do you have a sweater I can borrow? And then she walks past Bryn to get a sweater. It's like, okay. Did she need to hug Bryn on her way to get a sweater? I mean,
I don't know why this show is not burning up the ratings. So
this is crazy. Make that a drama. Remember how Sai came into the room to get a sweater and she walked right past you to get it? You better call her out on that, girl.
If I remember correctly, by the way, I need like a little bit of a recap here. So they were fighting. The big fight between Sai and Bryn is that Sai was mad that Bryn told Jenna that Sai hated Jenna. And then when they tried to squash it last week, Bryn looked just immediately like, whatever I did, I apologize to you for. And so I was like, you didn't even hear what I have to say. And then they finally just got to a detente where they're like, okay, whatever. And then it was reignited because Sai was mad because she just feels like she never like Bryn just wasn't taking her seriously, and it got reignited right by Uba at the end of the episode, because Uba kind of like brought it up to the group again at the whatever breakfast they were having. Is that correct, Ronnie?
Yeah, basically, Bryn was talking shit behind everyone's back, and so everyone's trying to confront her about it to get her to stop it, and then she turns herself into a huge victim every single time. And then Uba was trying to fight other people's battles, but then got mad at her on her own because she's still mad about the Connecticut guy. And so Bryn keeps kind of apologizing to people, but it's more like I'm sorry you're mad, but you will not speak to me in that manner. And it's like she's like doing the absolute wrong apology every single time. So these girls still do not like her, and she's not going to win until she gives a little, and we're going to watch how that goes for the rest of the episode.
Bryn is having a spectacular face plant this season, and the audience is not having it. So Bryn is like,
no.
Like, you go onto Twitter, everyone go onto Twitter, and you will see people are not having Bryn right now. Bryn,
she earned it in this episode. Last episode
did.
I was like, but I like her. Like, I like her shtick in a way. Like, it's kind of funny. Like, I get it. I don't understand the hate. I was saying, like, why is everybody else hating on her so much? Wow. And then she had this week. I was like, oh, ouch. Are you an idiot? I'm trying with you here, lady. I'm trying. Okay.
Yeah. As an early Bryn skeptic, this is very validating for me. I still contend that, like, when Bryn just drops her whole act, and she's just like, when she's more authentic, she's much more compelling. I still believe that, but separate from me. That's separate from me actually enjoying her.
Today, you were a parking ticket at the Grove when you were only there under an hour. You were immediately validated. I just got the password.
Yes. God, I loved it. So anyway, Bryn is like, my fight or flight is kicking in, and because I don't fight, I'm on the first flight, baby, and I'm gonna join the Mile High Club on it. Yes.
But you keep starting fights with everybody, so your frequent flyer miles must be great because you never stop stirring the shit.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
So then Jessel and Bryn are sitting on a bench, and Raquel comes to sit with them. And Jessel's like, so how do you pronounce your last name? Is it like the gas station? She's like, Chevron. So it is like the gas station. No, that's Chevron. Oh, who's she? No.
Chevron. I believe that's Pavitt's favorite kind of cheese. No, it's not a cheese. Yeah, Puerto Ricans are very mixed, but the French name that I have isn't actually even my father's last name. I have absolutely no relationship with my father. And Bryn's like, really? They're all like, wait, is there trauma bonding to be had? Yes. Gather round, everyone.
Oh my God, everybody. First trauma dump of the season. Gather round.
Get over here. Bring that tennis pro over. Come on. Trauma dump happening now.
Thomas, do you have any old rackets we can burn on the court? Need to make a fire. Girls, get some s'mores. Incoming trauma. They love a trauma dump on this show.
They do.
But this, Raquel is not, we're laughing because that was last season's theme. Her trauma is actually, no one's trauma was funny. It's just that they really rolled around.
It just that it really, it just really comes in wave after wave after wave. And so, like, the trauma itself, the story is actually very sad, and it's riveting to watch it told, but it's like, so the show, like, oh yeah, of course, how did we not think this was going to be the backstory? So basically, Raquel tells a story about how her mother left her father when she was 1, but when she was 11, she wanted to get to know who her father was, so she called up. And the dad's new wife or girlfriend answered, and she was like, who is this? And she's like, I'm the daughter. And then the dad was like, don't you ever call here again. And then his brother was like, what the fuck are you doing? So then she went over for the holidays, and like the dad sent like a picture and was like, here's a picture, nice knowing you, bye, or something like that. Like, really, like a real shit box of a man, of a human. Terrible story for her. It was heart-wrenching, this whole story.
Yeah, it was really sad. And so, he like put all the kids in a photo booth. He saw them one time, put them in a photo booth, and then the photo strip came out, and then he just cut cut it up into 3 parts and just handed them all apart, and then they never saw him again. And so basically she was like, fuck that guy. I don't want that guy's name. I don't want to walk around with his name. So I tried to take my mom's name, and my mom was like, my dad was an asshole too, which was just so sad,
Yeah.
And so they went down the family tree until they found this name. And so she kept this name. And so it's really a sad story, and it's a touching story, and she's really come so far, despite all this. And Bryn's saying that it's so cool to see somebody go through something like that and still build themselves into what she has, like not letting your story control your life, which I think is probably one of the more empowering parts of this show, because I feel like sometimes the problem with everybody airing their trauma is it's like a way to excuse something, kind of the way that it's
To get out of a
presented
fight.
oftentimes on reality TV in general, is like these traumas don't come up until you really need something. On The Bachelor, it's like when you need to stay and you need that rose is when it's time to get your trauma out. Or on here, it's like when you need to be excused from being an asshole, it's time to bring up the trauma. But this was like, no, that was my trauma, and that shit's over now, and I'm stronger for it. And you know what? Fucking God bless that woman. Amen.
I mean, she's obviously kicking ass. She's
she's killing it.
She's killing it. She's doing a great job. So
they're all hugging and crying, and they're all crying and having a good bond. And then Jessel's like, so do you get an actual percentage everybody sometimes fills up gas? Or is that sort of a thing that they just bought when you were done with it?
Rebecca, now that Raquel has done her trauma dump, is there anything you would like to trauma dump on us? Yeah, well, there was one time I was in Iowa at a parking lot, and I just had to puke. So I just puked right into a planter, and it turns out it was actually someone's popcorn. It was disgusting. I don't know.
But guys, I do actually have some trauma to dump. So can anyone open their mouths? Because I'm really full right now.
Like, why is every story about you so disgusting, Rebecca Minkoff?
So then Rick so then we move on to the Sprinter van. We get back on the van, and Sai's like, oh, I can't do this, son. I'm really working on my skin right now. I'm really working on it.
And Raquel is like, well, you need the vitamin D. Oh, honey, I got the vitamin D before I left. See, we're just like Ramona and Sonia, right? So then Upa's saying, like, I slept so well, and then I woke up at 5 a.m. And everyone goes, yeah, and then went back to sleep. My dad does the same thing. So they're like, oh yeah, by the way, can we go to lunch with your dad? Is he in town? So they FaceTime Aaron's dad. And they're, she tells her dad that they're doing a Shabbat dinner tonight. And they have this nice little conversation with him. And he's like, only kosher, only kosher. So Jessel is basically like, are we dressing up tonight? What is the vibe? What is even this thing Shabbat? And Jenna's like, I don't know, but I'm making a Pavlova, and you have to dress up for the Pavlova, because I'm going to mention Pavlova 60 more
times. Dress for Pavlova. Yeah, I'm just going to keep saying Pavlova. It makes me so real. This is why I was hired to get people to, feel like Rockefeller Center is a village where we're all included. And the first thing to doing that was whipping up a Pavlova.
I said, what Pavlova. If we take the skating rink and design the walls that way it looks like you're skating inside a giant Pavlova?
I wanted to create a show called 30 Pavlova. And still waiting to hear back on that.
I was ousted from J. Crew after I proposed the radical idea that we rebrand the company as J. Pavlova. It did not go over well.
But the show I had come up with is still running over there, the Pavlovettes. And just Pavlova's kicking really, really high. That's going well.
Well, we had two different creative visions. We're like, do we want Pavlovas kicking high, or do we want Rockettes kicking Pavlovas into the audience? And we thought, why not both? Why not both?
Mm-hmm. So they all have to cook a dish. And back at the house, Raquel and Jenna are trying to time what they're going to make. And Jenna is like, I'm making a pavlova. What are you going to cook? And Raquel's like, well, I'm cooking a fish. And I need to marinate the fish for a little while, because that's how you make fish in the art world. And she's like, oh, okay, well, you do that. I'll make the pavlova. So then I don't want to be in the kitchen by myself. So I'll make pavlova while you marinate fish.
The meringue base has to cool in the oven because that's how Pavlovas do. And then Raquel's like, but Uba says she wants to put her rice and beans in the oven. How many ovens does Erin have? I was like, oh my God, are we about to have a Pavlova versus rice and beans fight on the show? I was like, this will either be its best moment or its worst, but I'm getting ready for it. And sadly, it never happened. I felt like I was
they're really
robbed.
setting us up for something. They're like, okay, they're going to cook. How are we going to cook? Who's going to get room to cook? Is everyone going to have room to cook? But what if she's in there? I'm not going to have room to be in there. Oh no, how are we going to get to Pavlova? How are we going to get the fish? And it's over. That's it.
Yeah,
no follow through.
We've seen this before. We Luann has built a whole cottage industry out of egg a la Francaise drama. And so I was like, oh, this is going to be Uba melting down, being like, who took my beans out? I have to cook my beans in the oven for Pavlova. I never said you could take my beans out of the oven. I was like, here it comes. It's going to be a thing. This is going to be the big Hamptons fight of the episode.
Here we go, buddy.
No.
Go.
Come on, Pavlova versus beans. Come on. No.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to that. But guess what? It didn't happen. I didn't know you made my best friend is Puerto Rican. And so she's made me rice and beans my whole adult life, actually. And I don't think that she makes them in the oven. I mean, I guess that's how attentive I am while I'm being cooked for,
I have never made rice and beans, to be honest. But who knows? Maybe Uba's recipe is different.
Sai.
Oh, is Sai's doing it? I thought it was Uba making.
Didn't they say Sai's making rice and beans?
No, Uba was making rice and beans.
Oh, okay. Then it's different. Then that's different. I thought it was like the typical, the Puerto Rican rice and beans dish. So maybe that's why it's different.
Sai was doing a whole thing, which, by the way, explains why she had a big metal pot in her car last week, because she clearly had a dish. I felt like Sai was doing the most cooking. She was the one who was doing all the heavy lifting in that kitchen, in my humble opinion.
Yeah. So then downstairs in the living room, Sai, Raquel, Jessel are all on the couch chilling, and Sai's boob pops out. And Raquel's like, oh, Booby's coming out. I don't know why I'm reading this. So then they, seriously. So now Bryn is in bed. Did someone say my
Pavlova's coming out? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
Bryn's in bed, and Erin's like, what are you doing in here? Aren't you having a fun time? We were just about to talk about rice and beans possibly going in an oven at the same time as Pavlova. And Bryn's like, I just want to go home. Can I go home? Everyone's so mean to me.
No, please, don't even say go home. It's that bad right now.
Where's the rice, beans, and Bryn? I mean, I wasn't even included by the rice and beans. Everyone's so mean to me.
I don't know what's up with him. I'm sick of it. My brother texted me. And by the way, when Bryn cries, she smushes her whole head into the back of her neck, which is really funny. She's always like, she always looks like she's facing down a wind turbine. So she's like, she does that. She gives herself a quadruple chin. She's like, I don't know what's up with him. I'm just sick of it. And my brother texted me, and I asked, what should I do? And he said, I was like, Bryn, is someone sticking an invisible pillow on your face?
Yeah. It's so suffocating. I just want to go home. Well, I know that Sai and Uba are very frustrated with Bryn, but, I've been the target of a pile-on. And then we see flashback to last year with everyone in the hot tub. And Erin saying, you're trying to get everyone against me. It's enough. It's too much. What are you doing to me? Literally no one has ever been this mean to me before.
Erin, the victim of her own stupid prank that went awry. That's the part that she leaves out.
So, by the way, she learned nothing from, because this episode she's like, guess what we should do at my house again? A prank.
I know. We'll get to that. So also, when Erin said that she's been the victim of a pylon, I have expected to see footage, her to tell a story about how she walked into a pylon once. I was a victim.
Have that removed. My family's in real estate.
You don't know what it's like. You lose all trust in someone when they put a pylon in your way.
So then, that's Karen. So then at Erin's Sag Harbor home in the living room. Okay, we're back in the living room. So now they're talking about outfits and who's cute and stuff. And then I don't care about any of this.
They're gonna
Jenna's
go to the
walking
supermarket.
down the hall. Okay, they're gonna go to the supermarket. So then Jenna goes to check on Bryn, and she's like, "Hi, baby."
Jenna's like, are you gonna go with him to the shop in your non-Bentley? She's like, no. She's like, oh, are you going to be supervising my Pavlova work? Because I'm going to work on a Pavlova right now. No. Pavlova.
It's like, okay, I'll help you. So now Aaron's making a fire and they're going to go chill by that. And Raquel's like, I just have to cut the eggplant and then I have to get it started. And then after that, I'd be more than happy to just chill at the fire like a couple of girlfriends.
So now Bryn is in the bathroom talking to Jessel, and she's like, I don't know what I did to make them so mad, and like literally like look at me and say, you're a snake, da 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 da. This is all your thing. Shut the fuck up. Like, what did I even do? And then we see a flashback to that whole fight, and Bryn's like, it's just like such an energy suck. I'm like, you're the one who's literally sucking the energy out of this like pleasant making dinner sequence that is going on for the next 15 minutes.
If energy is not a really rich, handsome man, I don't want to suck it.
So then back in the kitchen, Aaron is, I'm going to go sit by the fire now. So now is wackiness with Bryn and Jenna in the kitchen. Hey, where's the temperature gauge?
Wait, do you know how to cook?
I mean, I know how to do Pavlova.
You're like so lost in the kitchen.
Like, well,
how are we ever going to get married if you don't cook?
Jenna's like, well, it's not my kitchen. Hey, Aaron, do you have like a stepson or a godson or someone around that can cook food for us tonight? No?
Usually when I say I'm going to cook something, I go into the kitchen and I tell whatever lady is there in khaki pants that it's time to cook the thing. So do you have one of those? Or
usually when it's time for me to cook, I just blast Chapel Roan from my speakers and wave a flag out my window, and usually Gay comes up and cooks me something.
For the longest time, I just thought Pavlova was called Icon Mother because the Gay wouldn't stop saying that as he cooked it.
Icon Mother, you're Pavlova.
I always assumed Pavlova was a beautiful lesbian figure skater from 1987. So I always said I would love Pavlova until I realized it was just a dessert. So it's just now my thing. Does that make any sense?
Now Bryn's no, but I loved it. So now Bryn is doing that thing where she's like,
why are you drinking? You need to drink with me. Why are you drinking? You should drink. Why not you drink with me? Wah, wah. Baby wants drinky.
So Jenna's like, okay, well, I'm not going to drink, but I'll make it up to you by letting you wear my diamonds because, I don't want to say poor, but you're poor. So here, take some diamonds. Look, wear them.
This is the deal of the century, and I accept.
So, Jenna just puts diamonds on her. I love Jenna just has massive diamonds everywhere. And she goes, I mean, who doesn't feel better when adorned with diamonds? I'd like to meet that person. Diamonds are every girl's best friend. Well, next to a Pavlova. They do make you feel better. I do think they have healing powers. I'm just incredibly rich. You know what also has healing powers? Being so wealthy.
So then at the grocery store, Sai, Uba, and Jessel are shopping, and Uba's like, do you have coconut milk? So okay, they're getting stuff. And then Uba's like, oh my God, listen to how Jessel says cilantro. She says cilantro. Hilarious. Season 3 incoming.
Cilantro. I mean, isn't that Raquel's last name, Cilantro? Just no? So they're shopping. They're at a place called Amber Waves, which for everyone who's a barefoot Contessa girly like me knows that Ina Garten loves Amber Waves. So shout out to Amber Waves and Ina Garten, because why not? Why not shout them out on this episode where nothing's happening? So Sai's like,
Jessel, when was the last time you went to a supermarket?
She goes, I literally never even go. We should go to one sometime.
We're literally in one right now.
Oh, really?
Where do we get the gas? Where do we put the gas in the car?
Why do you keep asking about gas? It's a supermarket. Jesus.
Oh, all right. What do we do here?
You get food.
Disgusting. I would never.
This is a terrible place. Can we go now?
There's so much pollution in here. Look at these things just all clumped together. Like those could choke things in the ocean.
They're bananas.
So they
Whatever
actually
you say.
all I see are different things I can push Pavat into. So
What are those baseballs?
They're cans of soup.
Like
Oh.
I said.
So- it's all disgusting to me personally. So then
Do
they
we have
play.
dessert? What if Jenna's Pavlova sucks? Should we get some ice cream? And she's like,
Oh my God, you're ridiculous.
so now Sai wants to play a game called How Much Shit Is? And
Yes.
they're like, how much shit is? We get the wacky graphic.
Wacky graphic.
And so Sai's like,
How much is organic milk?
is that,
So-
where's that from? Is that from the state of Organia? What is that?
Is that from Orange County? Oh no, organic orange. Two different words. Okay, well
It's
this
from
is
a real cow. What is normal milk from? Is there a different kind?
Does Tom Cruise drink this milk? That will help inform my estimation. So
So she goes, oh, I know that milk is expensive. So that would be $6.50. It's like $9. I was like, wow, Jessel's actually going to fuck up this game, which I love. Because
Yeah,
she's
I
supposed
actually-
to be like the mom on Arrested Development, right, Ben?
Yeah, I think this was actually a hilarious game. Honestly, I think 650 was a reasonable guess, but the problem is you have to also add in Hampton's costs, which is like it adds like $3 or $4 onto everything. So Sai's like, well, I honestly didn't realize the fucking milk was $9 either. So then they're like, okay, Sai's like, okay, avocado oil. Now this is where Jessel's really off because oil in general has gotten so expensive. I went to Pavilions the other day and like a 48-ounce thing of like the California olive oil is selling for $48. And I was like, absolutely not. So oil is crazy. So especially like these sort of like more specialized oils, like not like vegetable or canola. So Sai's like, how much is avocado oil? And Jessica goes, I don't know, $5.
It's like, no, it's $16. Okay, what's a dozen eggs?
She goes, oh my God, $11? Less than $1 per egg? $8.
Oh my God, that's
So,
quite expensive for things to throw at Pavat's head.
You know how much my eggs are? I'm paying $1,000 a month for my frozen embryos. Like, I can't with eggs. I just can't with eggs.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's the end of a fun game. So, okay, let's talk about eggs. So, how are you paying $1,000? She's like, well, it's just ridiculous. Frozen eggs, and she basically
But she's
has.
also got so many. Like, who needs 6 or 7? Is that normal? I mean, I'm saying that like I know. I don't know. Like, do you
Well-
have extras in case one doesn't work out, or?
I think that's what it is. In case something doesn't take, I don't know. You know, whenever it gets to this sort of stuff, I'm always like, what's an egg? So, but she's keeping them in a freezer, essentially, metaphorically, on Rodeo Drive. Of course she is. She's like, well, I want my frozen embryos to be near the frozen embryos of the stars, so we're on Rodeo Drive.
Julia Roberts just passed one of my future children probably this week. It's
Yes.
worth it. It's worth every moment.
One Julia Roberts embryo just told my embryo, big mistake, huge.
George Costanza's embryo just flirted with my embryo. Got really rude towards the end.
My embryo is wearing a big black rimmed hat and walking a very small dog at the moment, just so you all know. Rodeo Drive.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So Sai's like,
Oh my God. Well, why don't you just put them in someone else? I could do it.
and Jessel's like, well, a surrogate adds another $250,000. I mean, it's basically 3 avocado oils.
Jenna's like, yeah, I know, that's like 5 Pavlovas. So Sai is basically like,
Whatever. If you give me $250,000, I'll carry your baby, Jessel. I'm really invested here. I'll carry 2 of them. I don't care.
Oh my God, that's all we need. The kid will come out with a Big Mac. Like, wait, where'd you even get that?
Shut up, I'm hungry.
So then, and I know that the baby is not supposed to take on characteristics from the oven, only from the egg and the sperm. I get it, but I don't believe it. I don't
that baby's gonna
believe
be
that
here.
you just live in a house for 9 months and you don't remember anything about it. I think it's going to get some psi imparted into it, no matter what people say about DNA.
Yeah, it's hearing a lot of size voice. I don't understand how that does not impact a little baby. So
yeah, it's like kids, when people say, "Oh my God, when I was pregnant, I had a difficult pregnancy and I couldn't leave the house, so I would just listen to you guys. I would listen to your podcast," which is the nicest thing. My response is always, "Why would you torture yourself? Aren't you in enough pain?" But then that's why their babies always come out with the tiny martini and the cigarette. And they're like,
You know what? Fuck you. Fuck you.
So Jessel is saying like, so Sai, I see you in London. It's so cool to have a girl.
And she's like, yeah, it's very sweet bonding, like the connection that we have. Jessel wouldn't make the best girl mom. That little girl would be running around in silk feather pajamas and just being like, twinning all over the place, So then Uba's like, come on, get pregnant together with me. And Sai is saying that like having a daughter is like having a best friend that you're going to have for the rest of your life. And she just wants that for Jessel.
God, these people obviously are not in touch with gay culture. Not little mommy dearest, anybody? Can someone send Sai to gay college, please, for about 10 minutes?
I think like also maybe they should talk to Jenna Lyons because they may have forgotten about one of her storylines from last season. So
seriously, or her own, really. So then
that's what I'm saying.
Size too.
Oh,
size too. Yeah.
She's like, oh, everyone loves their mom.
So then Uba's like, can't you keep an embryo at home in your fridge? Why can't you do that? And they're laughing. And she's like, because that's a lot of money. I mean, I pay $300 for my eggs. And I like that Uba found like some discount Temu version. It'll take about 13 weeks to ship them here. And it'll be in a taped together box that's probably been thrown all over a truck from China to here. But still.
She has a test tube in the back of a display at Carvel somewhere. She's like, oh, don't mind. She's like, don't mind me. That's just my baby the behind the rocky road.
Why does that sign say 32 flavors?
I'm one. So then we go back to Aaron's kitchen and Raquel needs a nap, and Bryn's like,
I want a nap too.
So, we're firing on all cylinders. So then the other girls come back to the house.
Firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And there's like packages on the front stoop. So Sai, of course, is like,
What are these packages for?
and they're like, stop being nosy. So they walk in with pizza, and Aaron's like, oh, you have pizza? And Jess is like, we did, like, right before dinner. And they're like, yeah, we know dinner's not gonna be ready anytime soon.
Dinner, we all know dinner's gonna suck. Like, who are we kidding here?
Yes.
So Sai's like,
This girl has to make rice and beans. What time do you think that's going to be done? We just want to be courteous, Come on.
so then now everybody's still cooking and stuff.
For
And
people, by the
Raquel-
way, for people who decided to join into our podcast episode midway through for some strange reason, I just want to let you know we've been talking for 20 minutes about people prepping and going to the grocery store to make dinner so far on
literally,
this episode.
I keep looking at the page numbers on the side of the notes to see if I've gone backwards, but I have not.
I'm like,
I haven't. But you know what's shocking? I mean, I have so much fun talking about it with you. I mean, I guess it's not shocking, but I'm having so much fun. But yeah, it's like, okay, I'm going to take a nap. Hey, you guys want to take a nap? I'm going to take a nap. And then Raquel is going to go on the grill because she's really good at it. And then Aaron's like, I don't fuck with a grill.
Yeah, and Raquel's like, I will slay a fucking grill. I don't cook very well, but I can fucking kill it on a grill. And then Erin now, meanwhile, she's like, wait, Jenna's having a Pavlova moment. I want to have a food that starts with P moment. So she's like, I made picadillo. And she said, then for the rest of the episode, wait, I made picadillo. You want my picadillo? I made picadillo. It's ground beef. Picadillo. It's ground beef.
Oh, so then Jessica is trying to peel a potato and can't do it. And she's like, why the fuck did I say I wanted to make this? It's just so difficult making pudding. So it's like,
That's a potato. Oh, God. I've never seen someone peel a potato like that. What? You're going backwards instead of forwards?
I actually
forward.
peel it like
Doesn't
Jessel.
go forward. It doesn't move that way. That's not how avocados work.
Hey, this is a potato. I thought this was the can of beans. By the way, Ronnie, so I have the peeler that I use a Y-shaped peeler because there's like a Y-shaped peeler or like the sideways peeler, and I've like adopted the Y-shaped peeler. And when I use it, I hold the potato in front of me and I pull it down sort of towards me. But according to Sai, that's actually backwards. And then they show she does it forward, like, which way do you do it?
Forwards.
I never knew this. I'm going to try it.
If it's a Y, I pull backwards, but I'm holding my hand so that it's moving forwards towards the potato. Yeah. I mean, anything sharp you're not supposed to have facing you because you'll die. Now, I've never known anybody to die from a potato cutter or peeler, but I have cut myself many times with a peeler. Have you?
Not too much, but if I were using the side type of peeler, which is what I used to do, I would do that one forward. But with the Y-shaped one, I always pull things to me, like I'm like unzipping it almost. I feel like I have control that way, but it feels weird to go.
Isn't unzipping it pulling outwards? Unzipping would be
meaning like
outwards.
if I were looking at it like this, okay, I'm looking at if I'm looking. By the way, sorry, this is a.
No, I mean I can imagine you doing
I go like
doing
down.
it backwards.
It's like this is.
That's doing it backwards, though.
This is right. This is how I would do it, like this, not like. I do like I would.
I don't do it forward
Here.
like that. I still pull it back like this.
My coffee is the
You see
potato.
what I'm doing?
My coast.
I do it like this too.
But you're still brushing it away, whereas I would go like this.
Oh. Well, you know what? We don't have classes on that shit. What do we know?
I'm gonna try that next time I peel a potato or any other thing.
Oh my God! Good luck on your journey. You're gonna have so much fun.
Guys,
Okay,
I learned
so
something from Ronnie.
now they're still cooking. They're cooking more, and then Raquel is out there grilling in a nice big fur coat, and they're like, "Oh my God!" It's giving caveman chic. By the way, how many followers does that caveman have? I will go help it at the grill.
This just in: Raquel has caught on fire by wearing a giant furry thing next to a grill. The producers were like, "Oh my God, Raquel wearing a fur while she grills. This is iconic. America is going to love this right now."
Well, America grills, and we know what a mistake that is because that woman is going to smell like dead cows all the way home. I'm glad she brought her own car because that shit's never leaving your coat. Have fun.
Yeah, I was like, "Do you really grill?" Because you're wearing a big fluffy jacket right in your. First of all, an open flame, which is scary, and second of all, it's just going to smell like smoke for eternity. So then she doesn't even make her lamb.
Guys, she said, here's the lamb that was able to be cooked, everybody. I made it. And Sai's like,
Oh, wait, did you cook the fish first? Please tell me you're a cook the fish first kind of a person because I don't want to have the fish. It tastes like goddamn lamb.
and she's like, oh, we didn't have the fish. You guys weren't able to pick up the fish. And everyone just felt weird about having 2-day-old fish. 2-day-old fish. Eat the 2-day-old fish. What's wrong with that? How new does it have to be? You need to get it like straight from its mother's breast. Not mine. Rebecca's like feeding a fish. She's like, you're not taking this fish from me.
She's
It's only 20 years old.
Let me tell you something. I once had a 2-day-old fish, and I have never shat more at a Michael Kors fashion show than I did that day.
So thanks, Rebecca. Okay, TMI.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so then Erin is with Brittany. She's like, I have an idea. Look, we take this roach from this gag gift, and we could put it in food. We should put it in Jenna's meringue. Wow, this is hilarious. I'm like the queen of pranks. I don't know how they didn't just insert Uba like, no one takes my phone. God damn it. From last season.
When I am on vacation,
The
my
prank that
family
went
needs to reach
horribly
me.
wrong.
Yeah, I was already seeing the trajectory of this episode, which is that this was going to be a prank. Uba was going to be disgusted, and she was going to start yelling at Erin for how could you do that? Like, food is a sacred thing, and you don't mess with that. And now I've lost my appetite, and it's gonna be. This is what I thought the trajectory was going to be. So, yeah, they're going to put a roach out. So
It's hilarious. So then Aaron and Rebecca are talking in the other room, and everybody looks super pretty, guys. Okay, so now it's Shabbat Shalom, bitches. And this is the segment where they all talk about each other's clothes for about 5 minutes solid. Like, oh my God, you look amazing. What is that? Oh my God, it's Shabuti. Really? That's amazing too. What are you wearing? I'm wearing Cassandra. Cassandra! Where'd you find Cassandra? What are you wearing? I'm wearing something from the Bob Hope collection. Really fabulous.
Thanks for the memories. Hey, Rebecca, are you going panty free? She's like, no, I'm not. I learned that I should always wear a diaper. Oh, no. So just take the panties off, Rebecca Minkoff.
And then Rebecca says, no, because then it's wet.
She goes, oh, excuse me? Do you want to have a drink? You just said what?
So now it's time to have dinner, and they're talking about Jenna's outfit, and she's wearing like a latex sexy top. And Jessel goes, wait, was this recycled part of a truck at one point? I'm just asking because you are a lesbian and you are very, modern. So I assume you're into recycling, it's what people like us do now. And you like trucks because, well, I mean...
Some truck. I just love Jessel saying this to Jenna Lyons. Again, well, she's now no longer like the established person in fashion here at the table because we have Rebecca Minkoff, but Jenna Lyons, person of the fashion industry, and Jessel saying, so I mean, what this latex is this like recycled truck of some sort? Jenna's
and I'm like Rebecca goes, what part of the truck, Jessel? What would that even mean? She's like, well,
I don't know,
I've never been in
potato.
one, but I can just assume.
Don't they have like, I don't know, CD players or things like that in trucks? Whatever it is.
And Jenna's like, there are things that come out of Jessel's mouth that I love her, but I just don't know what happened there. I mean, this is made special and just for me. And it's by a very special Japanese woman. So, it's custom made in London by a special Japanese. So, next time I just want her to look at me and say, was that made by a special Japanese person? Because, duh.
It's not a dump truck. Meanwhile, there's like a Japanese lady in London being like, I just sold a recycled dump truck to some lady in New York who thought it was actually worth something. So, Jessel's like,
I recycled my husband's truck into a new outfit for that crazy lady, and now I drive a Nissan Maxima. It's like, wow, nailed it.
So Jessel's like, how do you even get into latex? And Jenna's like, well, I have a lot. Jenna has that thing like where she wants to tell a story but wants to pretend like she's embarrassed. So she's like, puts her hands like on her brow and it's like, oh, you guys. Oh. So they're like, Jenna, what's going on? Do you have what's going on here? She's like, do you have like a latex company? She's like, no, I have a decent amount of it because like years ago.
You're into S&M, I knew it.
That's so hot.
And she goes, like,
Softcore bondage? What is it? I like the idea of someone being in this, like, wallflower, quiet kind of woman of mystery. And then, boom, behind the scenes, she's getting her freak on, banging dudes, 0 fucks. I love it. Oh.
Okay, while Brenda's having a pre-Pavlova orgasm, let me tell you the story about why I have so much latex in my apartment. So I was 27 years old and I dated a guy who was working for the New Yorker and he had to write about all the sex clubs in New York. And there were like tons of them. And this was like before Giuliani. And I remember we went to this one downstairs that was like a full-on sex dungeon. There was like women being strapped to a wheel and being turned and making Pavlovas and just being auctioned off. And there was like someone over a horse. It was just wild, just this crazy sex club. I'm like, this is an interesting story. It does not explain why you have so much latex in your apartment though.
Yeah,
I failed to see the connection. Right. It's like
you're right. I didn't notice that, but you're right. Actually, she's like, I went to a sex club once, so now I have a lot of latex.
I was like, did you source the latex from the sex club? Did you have to wear this latex to the sex club. I'm like, I still want the dots to be connected a little bit more.
Yeah. So they're not taking it very well. Jessel's like, dungeon, sex dungeon. Is that where you get gas? No, Jessel.
Do they sell
she's like,
avocado oil in that dungeon? And is it also $16?
Jenna's like, there was a woman, like, sort of like, I don't know, strapped to a wheel, and like they kept turning her around. Did she ever hit the big money? Were people yelling "Wheel of Fortune"? It wasn't. I don't think it was a good. I don't know if it was a good thing, but it was like people getting naked. There was like public sex. It was so crazy. I mean, before Giuliani, after Giuliani, no one really does that anymore. But I still see those people in the park sometimes and just think, God, I remember when you were basically a human Swatch watch that night.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. It was pre-Giuliani, but after Giuliani, that sex dungeon turned into an Olive Garden in Times Square, so it's exciting.
Still unlimited sticks. So,
question: Did I forgot my question was. I'm just going to move on. So Jenna is like, yeah, there was a lot of watching. There's a lot of getting naked. There's a lot of public sex. It was insane, and so they're like, whoa, titillation. So Aaron's like, okay, by the way, it's time for a prank, everyone. So they light the candles. They do the prayer. And Aaron does the prayer, but she kind of forgets. So Rebecca Minkoff like helps her out with the last part. She's like, Beret Puri Hagafen. And then Aaron's like, it's sort of weird to me. Like, I love Becky, but I just don't fully understand how you can have two religions that are like so different and opposing. So she's basically like, how are you able to be Jewish and a Scientologist all at once?
Oh, you just half-ass them both, and then you've got a full religion. Okay, welcome to America. So now Aaron's like, oh, I just want to say one important thing. It's like Shabbat's like super special. And so like, we're going to have Shabbat. Oh my God, what are you wearing?
Oh my God, Jesse Simpson, what are you wearing?
Marge Simpson. It's actually Marge Simpson.
Wow, amazing.
So they give cheers, and then they talk. Aaron's like doing one of those things, like it's the end of the episode, and she's like, I love this group. No matter how chaotic we are, look at us. We just have so much fun together. It's like, you've still got half an hour to go, right?
I know. The red light has not started blinking. You still have some time left in your set. She's like, look how chaotic we were today. Remember, Jenna made a pavlova. I made picadillo, ground beef. Wow, the chaos is wild.
Clothes. It was crazy.
We took naps. Well, I know how chaotic we can be, but we still come together like a sisterhood.
So they all love the food and stuff. And tomorrow there's a chef coming who's going to make a ton of food. And Jessel's asking Raquel if her earrings are vaginas. And Aaron's like, okay, speaking of vaginas, let's play a game. We're going to play Never Have I Ever. Never have I put Bitcoin into an account and had my husband use it without telling me. Anybody?
Never have I ever not made picadillo. It's ground beef. Only me.
So the question is, never have I confused someone's name for during. Oh God, who cares? It's such a fucking Housewives game. Get a life. Go do something. Talk to each other. My God, don't you guys do anything? This is the most. This is next to. Let's go get our vaginas frozen. Storyline as one of my most annoyed. Like, let's have a game because we have nothing to offer. You guys need better auditions. If you have nothing to offer with an entire Housewives cast, then fucking games like this. Never have I ever. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, and then Side does a never have I ever seen my coworker naked, which leads to like 5 minutes of everyone talking about like, oh, well, Rebecca Minkoff is like, well, I needed a graphic designer, so I called on Brad, who was my ex-boyfriend. So does that count? I'm not sure if that counts. And then Aaron is like, well, Brenda's like, oh, Aaron, you slept with your business partner, didn't you? And Aaron's like, thanks, Bren. Thanks so much. Would you like some more picadillo? Ground beef. So Aaron is like talking about like her business part. It's really deeply uninteresting stuff.
She went into business with some dude that she banged in high school, basically, and then and I used to show my boobs to get a free taxi, so that and Brent's like,
You are a piece of trash.
and they talk about how she used to have really good boobs before kids stole them from her. And then now the next one is and Brent says to Jenna,
This one's for you. Never have I ever licked a butthole.
And
why
everyone's
is that
like,
for her?
never.
Are
Yeah, why
lesbians
is that?
big on butthole licking?
I don't know. And Uba's like,
Just like, you're gay, so I'm going to say something that sounds gayish
yeah,
to you.
you put a gun to my face and I wouldn't do that. And Aaron's like, I would maybe lick a woman's asshole, but not a man's. And Jess is like, maybe if it was bleached, no. An asshole, is that? Actually, I'm not even sure what an asshole really is.
I'll tell you what, an asshole has no gender between that. I'll have a woman's, but not a man's, you know? So then Raquel, so then they're talking about, oh my God, what if they steamed it? Raquel says, only if they steamed it in the yoni pot. And so they're laughing. And Brent's like,
Lesbians. Why is everybody so mean to me?
Jenna's like, I'm not letting my child watch this show. So now it's like time to bring dessert out. So Erin grabs the fake cockroach and she's gonna she slides it under the pavlova. And so then they Erin tells us, I've heard the word pavlova maybe 50 times, so of course I want to put a roach in the pavlova. Chef's kiss.
So meanwhile, the girls are making small talk and they're asking Uba about her hot sauce. And she's like, oh, I'm just waiting to have a team. I don't want to rush because I can't produce a lot. Didn't you already go on morning shows promoting this? How much did you have? Like 3 bottles in your house?
I know.
But she's still working on that, and which I would totally buy because I love some hot sauce. And then Jessel is whatever. So finally, we get this crazy, wacky thing happen, and everyone's like, oh my God, disgusting.
Well,
like, oh my God, there are 8 legs on my plate.
I liked how long it took for them to find the roach because Erin didn't hide it well. So she was like, everyone dig in, just dig in, everyone. And no one finds it.
No one's gonna eat either because it's a Housewives cast, so they're barely gonna eat on camera. You know,
they're kind of forking at the pavlova in the center of the table. So Erin's like, wait, no, everyone get a slice, keep on eating. Anyone eating? I hope there's no objects in this pavlova. Keep eating, everyone, keep eating.
And then Uba gets sick and she has to run to the bathroom to barf because it grosses her out so bad. And she's really barfing. I mean, she's going crazy.
She is
in there,
barfing.
just like, it's like a choir of gross sounds in there. And then Sai goes to check on her, but she's so grossed out from the barf that she starts barfing. It's like that Stand By Me movie where everybody starts barfing at the same time.
Yeah. So they're both barfing, and then Erin's like, oh my God, you're throwing up in my sink. This is hilarious. America must love us. And then Rebecca Minkoff is like, oh, this is like Tuesday for me. So Saya's like, I came in to check on her and she's throwing up and made me throw up. And they're all just cracking up. Uba's laughing. I was like, for sure, Uba was going to get mad. I thought Uba was going to be like, you do not do this. But she was laughing. Everything was good. And there's fun times with everyone.
Yeah, I think we skipped a part because I seem to remember a part where someone said, Rebecca, aren't you changing? And she was like, oh, I thought we were supposed to just come down here in our pajamas or something. Like it's a brunch.
That's
that's
morning.
coming up. That's coming up. I just answered myself, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's brunch. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, I like that part. Why did we skip it?
No, if you thought that we skipped a fun part, don't worry, we didn't.
I was like, we need this. We need this today.
So they laugh. It's a fun night. It was actually a really fun night. There was no drama, and they're all getting along well. And Jessel at one point notes that
Uba and Bryn are getting along well. Everything is great. So now it's the next morning, and the chefs are going to come over to make a shitty breakfast. And I know it's going to be shitty because the chef is too good looking to make a good breakfast. We all know the first rule of chefery, right? And they come over, and then Jessel and Rebecca are in the bedroom, and Rebecca is like getting her pump, whatever it is, the breastfeeding. It's a pump, right? It's called a pump, a portable pump. Yeah. I'm careful because one time I said on the show, I was like, oh, well, she's got to milk. And people were like, Ben, I cannot believe you refer to it as milking. So I'm like, I'm got to be careful because sometimes I just casually just say things but the wrong way. And I just make it sound so much more mechanical than it is.
And Jessel's like, I can't believe that you've done this. You've milked yourself for almost a year. And she's like, oh my God, my first was 3 years. I just can't stop. She's like, wow, Rebecca, that's a long time. She goes, yeah, he literally would come up and go, mommy, booby. She says that she doesn't want to stop. She says that she doesn't want to stop. She goes, we're going to breastfeed until he can talk and say, mommy, lift your shirt up. I was like, okay, so it has to be that specific one because you were just talking about how the other one was like, mommy, booby. So it has to be like full sentences. We don't stop until our children can do calculus. That's the basic rule.
Unfortunately, Pavitt says the same thing to me. And whenever he does, I hit him over the head with a plastic spoon.
I don't know how any mother does that. My cousin just had a baby, and it is the cutest thing. And she's the best mother. I mean, she's been waiting to have it for so long. It's so cute. Shout out to my little Isla. The cutest baby. And like, I have nothing against this baby, It's like perfection. It's an angel. But I look at that, and I'm like, get off of her. Like, get a life. Don't you have anything to do with yourself? Get off of my fucking cousin, you monster, you fucking soul sucker. It's hard not to get mad as a person with no babies. I don't understand how you do that for 3 years.
Meanwhile, Jenna is packing, and she tells us, or she tells someone, every hotel I've been in, I've forgotten something. That just shows you how rich she is, because that's a rich person thing to do, where you can just you're like, I'm going to throw whatever I can remember into this bag. Whenever I leave behind, I'll just replace.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh my God, did I leave my M&M's wrapper up there? What if there was still one in there? I didn't do the final check.
I'm the one who still looks under the bed, even though now all hotel beds have like walls under them, but maybe this one doesn't.
Yeah. So now they're going down for breakfast, and they're all getting dressed, and so they go downstairs, and first Jessel calls Pavitt, and she's like, hello, Pavitt, have you met anybody famous? And I found out avocados power cars. Did you know that?
Do you know that when they talk about big oil, they're actually talking about avocados? I never understood that before.
He's like, well, while you're goofing off, we're holding down the fort over here and trying out different kinds of ketchup from around the world. So far, Korea's winning. Like and subscribe for more.
Wait a second. We have a fort. What does that mean?
Stop eating while I'm talking to you. Jessel, I don't have time to explain. I'm raising 3 children on my own. Just, well, don't worry. Tomorrow you get off. And he's like, we know that's a lie. You're going to sleep in all the time. And he goes, hey, Rio, who's always sleeping? And he goes, Mom. She's like, oh my God, asshole, teaching our children to say I sleep all the time. Oh God. Actually, Pavitt, I've got to go. I'm extremely tired.
I'm exhausted by this conversation. I can't deal with this anymore. I mean, what an asshole teaches my kids to say I'm always sleeping. How about I teach the kid your father is always being stupid, hangs out with people who love fried chicken and goes to tiny little dumps around the city just to try different bowls of noodles. How about I tell the children to say that instead? Oh, sorry, Papa, as you were still on.
So then downstairs, the ladies are joking about trying on Jenna's rings some more because they're just so big, okay? And Jessel's like, oh my God, do you think she'll let me try hers on? Hey, Jenna, can I try yours? And she goes, which one? I've got a lot of diamonds. So.
And Rebecca's like, and Jessel's like, I want to try the promise ring. And Rebecca's like, wait, it's a promise ring and not an engagement ring? And Jenna's like, no, it's an engagement ring. But when we first got engaged, it was hard because the kids, we were trying to be low profile. Still trying to be low profile with my diamonds. I love Jenna talking about trying to be low profile as she pulls up in her $250,000 Bentley.
I know.
To
Rebecca's like, I'm
replace her
sorry.
vintage Mercedes.
I didn't hear what you said. There's something in front of you. Could you move that? And she moves her diamond out of the way. She's like, I'm sorry. I said that, we're trying to be low profile. She's like, that diamond's as big as China. How are you,
I know.
are you being low profile?
I guess Rebecca said the joke anyway. So Jess is like, look it just looks so good on me. Oh my God, I can't get it off. Sort of like the smell of Pavlova after he's been to one of his restaurants.
So then Rebecca's like, well, I thought we were all coming down in our pajamas, but I guess I missed the memo because everyone's dressed to the nines. And they're like, oh my God, you have 2 suitcases. I mean, you brought a lot on the chopper. What'd you actually wear? I mean, where are the looks, Rebecca Mean Cop?
She's like, oh my God, it's actually hilarious. I've only worn half of one suitcase. And then Bryn is like, okay, so when I give you shit about wearing the same thing, you can be like, hey, I have a clothing brand. And then you can say, but you sold sweatshirts at BravoCon. This was hilarious.
Yeah, like, yeah, you know, I have a national brand and you sell t-shirts at BravoCon, Bryn. And she's like, oh, but I'm not like that. That's not my nature.
The Bryn goes, that means you're not gonna last. That was this was amazing because to me what this said was that the producers do not like Bryn because they are putting they decided to intentionally pull back the curtain to show that she is trying to sort of produce moments, right?
Right. Yeah.
And they are not protecting her in this way. They're outing her, which means that the producers they don't like her at all. That's my theory.
Yeah, and it would have been funny if she did say that, like for another take. Okay, let's do it again. Well, I have a national brand, and you sell t-shirts at BravoCon. She'd been like,
Oh, Rebecca Minka was so mean to me. Like, I totally lost my boner. Just kidding, I saw my boner, but it's a sad one.
Bryn totally wants to have a feud with Rebecca. I mean, she started the season by saying, you know, like Rebecca Minkoff, like you've seen her stuff at Nordstrom Rack. She wants to have a feud with Rebecca because that would totally raise Bryn's profile if she has a feud with like an established famous designer. But like this also speaks to when you're like truly successful, you're not like Real Housewives successful, but when you're truly successful, you don't have to do this. She's just like, no, I only wear half a suitcase. Like, oh yeah, cool.
yeah. When I get mad at somebody, I generally have them followed by members of my church and their lives ruined. So that's basically how it works with me. I don't need this petty shit. What are you talking about?
So Bryn goes, guys, did you hear the news? And he goes like, well, I went to their room and we started laughing. And Erin said, look, you guys love each other. And Bryn and I looked at each other the other day and we said, of course we do. I love you, Bryn. And Bryn's like, I love you too. Now, Uba, if you want to say really, because you only sell sweatshirts at BravoCon, this would be a good time to do it.
You have to keep reading because I have a headphone malfunction.
Oh no. So Bryn is like, I love you too. And Uba's like, and you know, and Bryn's like, no, wait. I'm not gonna cut you off more. And Aaron's like, you just did. She goes, you did. You just did. And here's the thing. Every time I'm out of alignment, it's because of Bryn. She side-chicked me, and like I don't like to be interrupted. And when I'm having a conversation with someone else, let me finish, Bryn. Just let me finish. And Jenna's like, wait, I thought this was a happy moment. Like, let's go back to the I love you part.
Let's go back to that.
Do we need another Pavlova or picadillo? That's my food.
And it was like, no. I don't get mad. I don't scream unless you mean something to me. So that's it. I love when people say that. The only reason I'm terrible to you is because I love you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so sweet. Could you love me less? That would be great.
It's the Reza Farahàn.
Whatever the amount of love I need or whatever the amount of hate I need for you to treat me with some respect would be awesome if I could get that. Thanks.
To me, this is the Reza Farahàn defense. You know, we yell at each other, but it's because we're like family. And like, I still haven't met Baby Shams, but we're family. So, I wonder if... no, Reza has met Baby Shams. We have confirmed that like 2 years ago, but
I still like it in my mind to think that Reza has not met Baby Shams.
Oh, baby Shams.
Oh, I miss Shah's a Sunset. So Bryn, so anyway, so this is actually an important part. So Erin says that last night she pulled Uba into her room and said, please work it out. You guys love each other. And Uba says, and then Bryn got out of bed and she came to me and touched my face and was like, please, please, please use your words when you're speaking. And then, which is already like, what's that all about? And then Bryn tells us, she goes, I was like, Uba, I don't want you to come off as angry. That was my priority with Uba, not that she was yelling at me.
So I was like, what?
I was like,
What?
but she's allowed to be angry. By the way, you're
yeah.
allowed to be angry.
Yes. And so Aaron's like, yeah, there was a couple of things where I was like, yeah, you shouldn't have said that. Did you see my last season? And Bryn's like,
Yeah, I told her, I want you to marry Oliver, and I want Oliver to marry you, and I don't want you to come off as an angry black woman, you know?
I was like, oh no. I mean, I just heard all the chairs in the saloon back up. It's like, oh no. Why would you say that to somebody? What is wrong with you?
There's
what
so
the
many.
fuck is wrong with you, woman? Oh my god.
There's so many like layers going on here. You can really go to Twitter and you can see people's reactions. A lot of people are saying lots of very fascinating things. One thing that jumped out at me was that Bryn. Someone said, I think her name on Twitter was Echo, and she's like, Sai spent all of last year yelling about things, and Bryn never said this to Sai. So it's interesting that she's saying it to Uba. But this just felt like this I feel like didn't rub me the right way. It did not rub many people the right way. And
yeah, no, you don't say that. Especially, I mean, look, we're two white guys too.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like sit up here and like school a black woman on what she's supposed to say. And
exactly.
I also understand that boundary. But, just from watching Potomac and not living this experience, but just having watched it play out on that show, I was like, no, lighters, like you're a light-skinned woman. Like you don't get to do that.
Well, in my mind,
you don't get to do that.
What I, like Ronnie said, we are two white guys. And so I feel like we're observers of a situation, but it's not a lived experience for us. But like from everything that I have learned and seen and et cetera, it just felt like there's so much subtext going on here. And it felt like this was really problematic on Bryn's part to really bring this up and to suggest also that Oliver wouldn't marry Uba if she were quote unquote an angry black woman. And the truth was also that like Uba is allowed to get mad, especially if you're the one who made her mad. She's allowed to have an emotion. Jeez.
Yeah, agreed.
And the use your words
rough.
thing was very condescending. That's a very condescending thing for Bryn to say to someone.
Yeah. So, and then and Uba said, and Aaron was like, she's not an angry black woman. Don't say that. And she said, shut up, Aaron. You don't know. You're not black. Shut up. And so Aaron's like, I had a feeling Uba would think about that and then be like, don't tell me how to behave. And then it cuts back to Uba going, please don't tell me how to behave.
It's someone on Twitter also said, it's a bad state of affairs when even Aaron understands that what just happened was problematic.
Well, that happened last year. That happened last year with Aaron. Like Aaron said, like, why are you so angry? And then she was backing away from her and saying shit like that. And that's kind of what happened with Aaron last year. So yeah, Aaron knows. And I think Bryn's doing this like, well, I can, but you can't type of thing. And it's like, nope. Nope. So,
but it also is like feeding into. It's also feeding into sort of a narrative that they're building on the show that Bryn is not producing, but she's being very self-aware of like how she's coming off, how others are coming off. Like she's being. I can't think of the right words, but she's aware of the cameras, and so we just saw that with Rebecca Minkoff. Like this is what you're supposed to say in front of the camera, and she's telling Uba, hey, this is like you're coming off this way, don't like you should be careful about coming off this way, when it's like actually we just want people to be themselves, whether they're angry or not angry, just be themselves. And if people start calling Uba the angry black woman, that's on those people, that's not on Uba. Uba's allowed to act how she wants to act. And if someone is like, oh, she's aggressive, she's threatening, well, fuck those people because they're the ones who have work to do, not Uba.
Right. And I think that last year this kind of started because of the whole Aaron thing with the phone and all of that. And I think I think part of the subtext is Bryn saying, like, you know, after last year or whatever the reaction was from last year, I don't want you to feel like you're being called an angry black woman or something. I mean, I
Right.
do think there is like an element of that where but it's like you're saying, she's talking about show stuff and she's bringing it in like, you don't want to be perceived this way. And it's like, well, you know, it's the people. The problem wasn't that she was an angry black woman. It's that she was being called an angry black woman when she just got pissed at something that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the word angry. It's the suggestion that somebody is worse than other people for having emotions when you would never say that to any of the other people. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Or
So
that someone
whole
is the
thing
word
like,
people are using is
it's
policed. Yeah, like
it's just
policing her
crazy because
emotions.
she's referencing last season as if the problem was Upa, and the problem was the fact that she was called an angry black woman. It's not that she was actually pissed off at something that actually happened. It's, you know, so
Yes.
yeah, I think you're right. This is a mess, and I did not go onto Twitter, but I can only imagine because I was like, oh,
People are not happy
no.
with Bryn right now. They're not. So
And she hasn't
Uba
been
is
having the greatest season anyway, so this is just like this has got to be, oh, this is not good, girl.
Yeah, so Uba's like, I love you, but English is not my first language. I'm just really passionate, and when I'm speaking and someone, you know, and someone sidetracks me, I lose my shit. I'm getting mad at you. Like, don't do that. You know, I love you. Don't do that, please, please. To me, it sounds condescending. So I'm begging you, don't do that. You're a beautiful, amazing, incredible person. You're kind, but you're very condescending, and you're condescending to everyone here. So don't do this. Don't.
Yeah. And then so Bryn's so she's like, I'm good, because they're like, are you okay? And she's like, no, I'm good. So she gets up and leaves. And Bryn says that she's like,
This is driving me nuts. Like, I'm just looking out for you, dumbass. Like, I'm trying to use logic. I mean, she's playing into the stereotype. That's what I'm trying to tell her. So, in one ear, out the other, because I'm convinced that there's nothing upstairs.
oh God, she just makes it worse. I mean, what's bad is that was said in the confessional when she's even had time to think about it. And it's still
Yeah, and-
never, literally no one told you anything. Like, you just totally walked away with that, had time to think about it, and then later, like days or months later, still think this way. Oh Lord.
Well, the other thing is that, like Uba was saying too, like, by the way, like, I'm like, I don't call you names. Like, you come to me and I'm going to respond by calling you a name, right? Like, you know, you're disrespectful and condescending, you know. Yeah, I agree. Calling someone a snake and a liar is not a good thing, but you're not until you're condescending to me. And if you do it again, I'm going to call you a snake again. And, you know, and she goes, and I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, oh, don't put disrespect on my name if you call me a snake. And Bryn's like, don't mock me. Don't mock me. And then fast forward to the part you're talking about, and then Bryn like does like a fake like Uba accent at some point, or maybe it's not right here, but maybe it's later.
She's done it 10 times just in
I'm
the
like,
past
you're
2
mocking
episodes.
Uba.
No. You know, she does that to her and stuff, which is like,
And what
yeah, she's a hypocrite. This
and
girl.
what Bryn is really getting clocked for is that she loves talking about, I want to stir in the pot. But then when she is in the pot that is being stirred, or the pot has overflowed onto her lap, she is not happy about it.
If you can't taste the stew, don't stir the pot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's just blundering all over the place here. And so then they're like, Bryn, are you okay? Because she's like,
I'm really over this group. Everyone's going to stop this bullshit with me right now.
again, the victim of her own bullshit. Here we go. So Jen gets up, Jessel gets up to
stands
hug
up.
her. And she's like,
No, I don't want a fucking hug. What I want is maybe for the second time now, people do this shit and you all sit there with a thumb up your ass, not saying anything.
because you earned that. What do you expect people to say? Oh my
Jessel's
God.
like, oh, thank God I didn't have to give a hug. I'm so tired. I just want to go to sleep. So Bryn's like, I don't have to sit here and take this fucking bullshit from people. When I don't like shit, I leave. I tried to leave yesterday and I want to get the fuck out of here, and I'm not happy with this shit, and everyone needs to shut the fuck up. Everyone needs to stop. Everyone needs to get off my dick. It's like, okay. You're a hero because you're a martyr because you stayed longer than you wanted. And Rebecca's like, guys, let's just get some fresh air and go for a walk, maybe pee in a bush. And Aaron's like, well, I'm sick of it. People, this is like dumb.
And that's the end of the episode. It's the end of the trip. That's how it ended. Wow. And so we kind of see why things spiral to that finale that we've all seen clips of in the first episode. It looks like it's not going to get better, because one thing Brynn cannot do is apologize sincerely. She's never done it. And she's not going to do it this time, and she really needs to. I mean, definitely now is a time where you need to like look within yourself and be like, yeah, I was wrong. You know,
Yeah.
the fuck.
I think
Crazy.
My note to the producers is the last episode and this episode, if they had combined them into just one big episode, it would have been an absolutely amazing episode. But because they had to stretch it out over, maybe there's a note to Bravo, they had to stretch it out over 2 episodes. I feel like this is, again, one of those situations where I'm concerned that they have made an episode order that is too long for what the show can sustain. Like, let's go for shorter seasons where the drama can be stronger, or the episodes can be stronger. That's my note.
But at the same time, they kind of need to warm up too, because we're just only on the first few episodes, and so we don't know where the season goes or if it's
True.
But it was kind of a tepid year last year, so they're just getting warmed up. So this was like what, episode 3 or 4?
It's only episode 4. I mean, and I've been liking the season more than last season, but I think if anything that Dubai showed us is that and even Potomac, you can have a rebound season and you can come out of the gates just really great. So anyway, we're trying to wrap up. No need for me to start pontificating about what this show needs or doesn't need. You're right. We're only at 4 episodes in, and I mean, look, the show got us all talking. Everyone's talking on Twitter about it, so I guess it's succeeding on that front.
Yeah, most kind of positive kind of press anybody could ever want. But
hashtag
press is press, I
Pavlova.
guess.
Hashtag Pavlova, hashtag Picadillo, hashtag
I
two-day
came here
fish.
for tennis camp.
Hashtag tennis camp.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye. Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
We're fanning out for Bethany Fannin.
Put your hands together for Carly Clapp.
Dana C. Dana Do.
Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
Rigging the funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
Let's get feely with Maggie Sheely.
Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman. The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish. She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch. She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel. Ring that bell for Rachel. She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.